Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to Paper Terrace. Today we're going to do some eco prints and I'm showing you some of the results right here. But before we get into the video showing you how I got these prints, I have got to take you through the area where we gathered all of these plants because it's too pretty not to. If that's not heaven, I don't know what is. I gathered a bunch of plants, like I said, with Arlo, but I also had some flowers from like Mother's Day that my mom had given me and just a few different flowers around here. I'm using this alum. Now you're gonna see, if you know anything about me, guys, you know that I do everything easy. I don't measure and I don't always follow directions, so I don't quite know the correct way to use alum. So if you want a video on that, I would search someone else's channel, but if you're looking for just some inspiration on doing some easy eco printing and you're not too concerned about what the end results are, I'll show you how I got mine. So as you can see here, I'm basically just layering paper and then I will lay down my leaves. If some of the leaves or flowers are not very flat, if they're more dimensional, I just kind of squish them down. I am using mostly mixed media paper because I've done this before and I used printer paper, and while some of it ended up being okay, a lot of it would tear or kind of rip in half, and I didn't want that to happen, but I did use a few pieces of printer paper. So like this flower right here, it's really dimensional, so I'm just going to flatten it down the best I can. This was a tulip that my mom gave me. Sadly, it didn't transfer any of the pretty pink color. In fact, I don't think I really got too much color other than green, yellow, and brown, but it was still fun and I like how it all ended up. Some of the leaves, some of the petals were falling off, so I just set them aside to use on some of the other pieces of paper. I am trying to cover majority of the of the pages with some type of plant. And because I do like to experiment, I did go ahead and use some printer paper just to see what would happen. I do fold it in half so that it stacks nicely with my little bundle here. And I wasn't really worried about how many pieces of paper I was putting in this bundle. More so, I just wanted to use up all of the plants that I had. I was really hoping to get some pretty color from the flowers, but again, that didn't work, but it could just be, again, because I'm impatient and didn't really follow directions on alum, or at least I don't think that I did. But again, well, you'll see at the end that there's some definitely pretty outcomes with what I did here. So I'm gonna just continue stacking these with the plants until I get to the end of my plant bundle. I did decide to grab some of my spray inks on a couple of the pages and went ahead and just sprayed over the leaves here. That didn't really do too much in the end, although you could see the pink splatters. Why not? It was all right there, so I thought I would just give it a try. And now I'm going to take some more printer paper and I'm basically going to wrap it around my bundle. I wanted to make sure that none of the plants would move around or fall out. So printer paper seemed like the best bet here because I didn't want to, waste any of my good watercolor or mixed media paper, and I just needed it to kind of enclose everything. And then I'm going to take twine and wrap it around in both directions really good. And I'll tie that up really tight. Then I'm going to go ahead and you can see I wrapped the twine around in the opposite direction just to ensure that, again, nothing's going to fall out. So I wanted to do this inside my oven and use an aluminum pan because I didn't want to use any of my good pans that I actually cook food out of. And I am just going to guess here with the alum, and you're going to see I just sprinkle in the end, it was probably 2 tablespoons. Totally just guessed. And I just sprinkle it in. I did mix it around, and then I was like, let's add some lemon juice, because I did watch a couple videos long ago, and I remember there were different things you could put in the water to get different results from the ink dyeing that was going on with the plants. So yeah, I just guessed here. I just added some. I did watch some videos, like I said, long ago, and I remember something about people pre-treating the paper with alum water. So again, if you want, more specific and definite good results, I would watch a different tutorial on someone who's like educated on eco printing, but again, this is just for fun. So I wanted to make sure that the water was covering my bundle of paper here. It is going to float. Oh yeah, I added coffee because I was thinking, oh, it would be nice to have darker coloring as well, especially on any of the pages that might not pick up any of the prints, because that's definitely bound to happen. So I used 2 rocks to weigh down my bundle here, and then I was like, let's add some tea bags also. I'm going to put this in my oven. It was at 370 and I left it in there for an hour. When I was done, I let it cool off, and then I drained out all of the water. I let this sit overnight just to make sure nothing was too fragile when I was opening up the bundle. You don't probably have to wait, but I would at least wait until it cools down because it's going to be really hot and steamy in there. So I just go ahead now and carefully cut off the twine. I just wanted to be super careful because the last time I made some of these prints, the paper was really, really fragile. But I'm going to go ahead and reveal time. I'm going to go ahead and unwrap the paper that is around it. It looked a little muddy for a minute, but then I remembered I did add coffee and tea. And of course, some of the plant kind of disintegrates a bit as well. This is definitely where it gets fun, to start removing all of the plants. If you need, you can rinse these under water, but you'll want to obviously set them aside and let them dry really well before moving them around too much. So I was able to scrape off most of the plant matter just by pulling it up. Some of the pieces were stuck a little bit, but nothing that I couldn't kind of carefully scrape off. So the first few prints didn't do too much, but I am going to show you what these all look like dry, because it kind of seems like some of the prints show up much better once they dry. Now, the ferns really give the coolest impression, in my opinion. I love how it looks. I'm definitely going to be going back for some of the plants that I thought worked really well, which are the ferns like this, and then some of the just basic leaves. So again, the flowers didn't show up too much. These were just, I think those are pansies. I can't remember. They're just from my yard. Basically, I try to use anything that's either dying, maybe already on the ground. I'm not trying to mess up too many live plants in this whole journey. I definitely want to try this again and maybe do some experiments with adding different things such as baking soda, or I'm not sure. I think I need to actually watch some videos just to get a few more ideas on what I can do to get, more clear prints, or actually really it would be nice to get colored prints like from the flowers. So I'm just going to continue peeling off all of the little pieces, and then we will go through and see what they all look like. So if you've ever done eco dyeing and you have some tips, feel free to leave them down below. And then if I was going to give you any tips, it would just be to have fun with it. Don't have any high expectations. I mean, if you're just trying to have fun with it and experiment. And I would definitely use either mixed media or watercolor paper, or maybe just a heavier cardstock, because it can get frustrating using printer paper with it ripping and whatnot, unless you're super careful. But let's look over all of the pages dried, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you later. Bye.